Here's the update video that I told you I would do. I'm going to try to do 1 or 2 updates a week and then put that all together, and sometime in March I'll put that video out and just let you know if there's any trouble, how's it running, what kind of energy usage, what kind of oil usage. And I think I will start with oil usage. And this is the first time I have filled it up again since I got it started the second time. That's a 25-gallon tank. It used that in 5 days, so that's 5 gallons a day. That's not bad considering that it's been in the mid-30s for highs and low 20s for lows, and I think it's dipped into the teens a couple of nights. The old Fiery Dragon probably would have used 6 or 7 gallons a day during those temperatures. So I'm pretty sure that I've made this thing a lot more efficient than it was. The old Fiery Dragon was a 1 gallon per hour nozzle. It would do good to maintain 115 degrees. Matter of fact, the indoor fan, which is ran off of a temperature controller, would be cutting on and off all through a cycle because it couldn't maintain 115 degree water temperature. And like I said, it would use 6 or 7 gallons a day during those temperatures. This one here, it's a half gallon hour nozzle. It's maintaining 135 to 145 degree temperature, and it's using 5 gallons a day. So I'm pretty sure I have upped the efficiency quite a bit. Now this next week I think it's supposed to be in the 40s and maybe even the 50s, so it probably won't use very much at all, but I'm still going to keep track on how much oil I'm using, and I will put this in the update video that'll be coming out in March sometime. I've got an app on my phone from my power company, and it'll show usage. I can break it down monthly, weekly, daily, hourly, however I want to. Well, I've took some screenshots and I want to put them up here and show you the difference between no Fiery Dragon and running the Fiery Dragon. This first one is the week before I first fired it up. Now the kilowatt usage is on the left. The daily average temperature is on the right. That'll be the black line that you see. Now pay attention to my kilowatt usage this week and how high it is. Now this next one is the week that I fired it up for the first time. And can you tell which day that I fired it up? Actually, it's the day before. It's on that Tuesday, but it was so late in the evening that I didn't save a whole lot of energy. But look at the rest of the week and see how much my energy use dropped when I started the Fiery Dragon up. This next screenshot is the week that I tore it down trying to fix the water boiling issue. I believe it was Tuesday morning when I tore it down. So you can see the energy usage went up on Tuesday, and for whatever reason this app won't show the rest of the week. I don't know why, but trust me, the kilowatt usage it's way up. The next one is when I fired it up the second time after I fixed the water boiling issue. I fired it up on a Saturday night at about 10 o'clock. This whole week, starting Sunday at midnight, is of Fiery Dragon. And again, pay attention to the kilowatt usage and see how low it is compared to when I'm having to run a heat pump. It's amazing. My light bill is usually $250 to $350 a month in the winter. It takes a lot to heat this house because it's not insulated well. I need new windows. It's not a big house. It's but 1,250 square foot. Since I started the Fiery Dragon up, I'm using less than $5 a day this week on my entire house for electricity. Not just the Fiery Dragon, but everything. That's how much it has cut my electricity back, and I am just tickled to death with how it's doing, and I hope that it continues to run as good as it is. It very well could cut my bill in half or less, and I'm just tickled to death with that. It's 28 degrees outside, and it's maintaining about 135, 136. Not bad. She's sitting here just purring like a kitten. It's 26 degrees outside and wind blowing pretty good. And we're approaching 110 degrees inside. It's probably 107, 108 That's not bad. I just pulled in the driveway and I can smell it. It's burning rich. It's got a coal smell and it's burning rich. I don't know what's going on, so let's go check it out. Well, I think I found the problem. The burner tube is just slightly stopped up. That'd probably make it do what it was doing. So it's gonna have to cool off, and then I'm gonna break that up and suck it out with the shop vac. I'm gonna open this side too, because it was smoking pretty bad. So everything in here should be good and black, and that's just wonderful. But let me open it up and I'll show you. Yeah, she just slightly sooted up. So I'm gonna let the whole thing cool down, give it a good cleaning, and then I guess this here, I'm just gonna have to clean it every week. I mean, it don't take, it won't take 5 minutes to clean it, but I'll have to remember to do that once a week. Well, she's clean now. It has warped that burner tube just a little bit right there where that stuff was stuck. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that, and if I have to clean it out every 2 or 3 days, then so be it. I had noticed here yesterday that I had a lot of oil coming out right here, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. That's what it was. It was hitting all that stuff in there and splashing that oil back, and it was coming out here. So it was telling me what was going on. I just wasn't paying attention. I still don't have a brush to get in there and clean all of them, but they're still in pretty good shape, most of them. I'm gonna have to make me some kind of brush to clean them out. But well, let me show you how much stuff I got out of it. That was empty. I emptied it before I started, and it's a good 1.5 inches deep. So it was quite a bit of soot in there. Well, she's fired back up again. It's about 35 degrees outside. It's spitting snow. I don't know if you can see it or not. I want to see what kind of temperature it's going to do, because there's still a lot of soot left on those copper tubes inside. So I'll be back in 10 minutes or so and let you know how it's doing on temperature. It's been doing about 135 to 145. So if I can get it back up there, then I know we're good. So I'll be back in just a minute. I don't see any black smoke rolling out of her either, so that's a good sign. Been running about 10 minutes. It's on 130. It's probably hurt it a little bit for efficiency, but still, it's not bad. I will tell you this much. When I would have to clean the old one, when I got done, it would take probably 30, 45 minutes. When I got done, I would be black from head to toe, because there would just be a cloud of black soot all in here, all over me, and it was just miserable. This time around, I got a little bit on my hands, and that was it. It took maybe 15 minutes. So this design right here is working out great. It made it up to 138. It's been running 15, maybe 20 minutes. The house has dropped down to about 71. And I got the thermostat on 74, so it's taking it a little while to get it back up there. But now the shanty smells like coal. When this thing goes running rich, it'll get a real bad coal smell. Man, it stinks. I'll be glad when this clears out. But I think she's gonna be fine. Like I said, I gotta make that brush, and then I'll just have to clean that burner tube out every week or so. And if I do end up burning a hole in that burner tube, guess what? I can just pull it right out and replace it. I'm really glad I designed it like that. I just run out of oil and I'm out here filling the tank up. I thought I would open this up and look inside the burner tube and see what it looks like. It's been about 30 hours since I cleaned it out, and it already looks pretty bad. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I'm going to have to clean it every day. It's probably due to that smaller burner tube size, and I can't go to a bigger burner tube, so I guess I'm just going to have to clean it every day. Alright, I got it cleaned out, and remember how I said that I thought it had warped that burner tube? No, it ain't warped it. That stuff had built up and got so hard that I had to get a chisel and a hammer and knock it off this tube. So it ain't warped the tube. And here's another thing I noticed when I was scraping this off. This here was it was like a real fine powder. So I thought, well, what if I'd rig me up a nozzle here somewhere and have a valve on it for air and hook it up to the PLC and have it put a burst of air in there every, I don't know, every couple hours maybe, and see if it'll knock that soot out, and maybe it'll blow it out the exhaust. I may try that and just see what happens. Alright, it is the next night after I just did that last cleaning. It's got a little build up, it ain't bad, but I want to do an experiment, and I'm going to hit it with air and just see if it'll blow away. Alright, it seems to blow away if I put the air right there on it. So, I might do a little experimenting with that and see what I can come up with. Alright, I want to show y'all a couple of things. I found me a brush I want to try. This is a refrigerator brush. You use it to clean the coal underneath the refrigerator. I'm going to try it, see how it does. The only thing I don't like is these bristles are nylon, plastic, I don't know what they are. I want one with steel or stainless steel. So if this works, then I'll find one with good bristles. Also, this is called a dust deputy. I forgot I'd bought it a couple years ago, but it's supposed to collect the dust in the bucket and not in your shop vac. This thing is really, really fine powder, and it'll stop up that filter in there, I mean, within a minute. You have to take it apart, clean it, and then do it all again. If you run it without the filter, then it blows smoke all in here, and I don't want that. So hopefully this little thing right here will work. And let me show you this end of it. I think that's PEX pipe. You can see it's sort of oval looking. I had to do that to get it to fit in here in this middle row. All I did was heat it up, put it in a vise and squish it, and then let it set till it cooled off, and it seems to be holding its shape. And I also used a universal adapter here and here, known as duct tape. So let's give the brush a try first and see how it does. I tell you what, that brush did a wonderful job. It does get a little dusty in here, so you might want to wear a mask or have the vacuum running right here where you're brushing, because it does throw off quite a bit of dust. Alright, I'm going to turn the vacuum on and see how it does now. Well, from the looks of it, that did a pretty dang good job. There ain't hardly nothing left on them. So I think I found the method to clean it with. That's great. And this stopped up the filter, but I was able to vacuum the whole thing before, you know, it stopped sucking. Let me take that off and just see how much we got in it. It's probably an inch deep in there. That's how much we got. I think half of it ended up on the floor. Ideally, you wouldn't let it get this dirty before you cleaned it. But like I said, that brush made a lot of dust. So you either need to do it more often or just have the vacuum running along with you as you brush to get some of that dust. But I'm going to say that's going to work great. Well, it's been a little over 2 weeks since I first started it up the last time, and she finally faulted out on me. I don't know really why. I just got out here and opened the burner just to see. And you can see it's got a little build up, but it's been 2 days. And the reason why it's no worse than it is because I adjusted this burner up and down, side to side, get it a little more straighter, and it seems to be helping some. But why it's quit, I don't know. So let me fasten this back up and we'll fire it up and see what happens. All right, let's see what happens. She fired right up. I don't know what it was. I wish I had some way to log it and see what the fault was. But anyway, I can handle once every 2 weeks if faulting out for something. Here's a screenshot of this week's kilowatt usage. You can see it's dropped a little bit. We had a pretty mild week There was a couple of days where it dropped in the 20s, and it ended up using about 4 gallons a day this week. It's been probably 3 weeks since I have drained the siphon tank, so let's see how much water's in it. Well, quite a bit. Huh. That's why I heard a boiling noise. It's boiling water, not oil. Well, come on. Well, that's quite a bit of water. Now you know why I've got that drain on there. And also, I heard it boiling. I was filling the tank up a minute ago and I heard this boiling over here. So I decided to drop the temperature down on it. It was at 145. I dropped it to 125. But it may have been boiling water, not oil. But I'm going to leave it at 125 and just see how it does. Fellas, I just got done filling this up. And then you just saw me drain the ammo can, drain the water off of it. And then I went to fire it back up, you know, pushed all my buttons and everything. It fired up for, I don't know, 5 seconds and it quit. Well, I come back out here to push the button again and it wouldn't light. Well, my ammo can, the level is low. And I've been trying to figure out what in the world's going on for about 5 minutes now. Well, normally, if you turn that valve back on after you turn it off, then it'll feed all over to the ammo can. I'm telling you, my brain sometimes I just don't know about it. Here's a screenshot of the past week's kilowatt use, and you can tell it's about like the other. It was a pretty mild week. I think we had one cold day. The rest of the time I was in the 40s and 50s. I may have got in the 60s one day. But it used 24 gallons in 7 days, so that's about 3.4 gallons a day. Here are the geese flying over. Well, this thing's cut off twice on me the last 30 minutes. I just got done filling it up with oil, I don't know, about an hour or so ago. I come out here to see what's going on. The only thing I can find is my oil level. It was kind of low. Well, it was right at the top of the outlet, so it was probably sucking air. So I adjusted on my float there a little bit, and we'll see what happens. I don't know what made that get out of adjustment, but it did. Also, I've been cleaning the burner tube out pretty much every day for probably 3 weeks. Not that big of a deal. It takes 2 or 3 minutes to do it. What I might do this summer is modify this to where I fit an 8-inch burner tube in it. It'll take care of that problem. But the problem is I don't have enough room on the top and bottom to put any copper. Well, it probably wouldn't even be able to fit a 8-inch tube in it. So I'm probably going to cut the bottom out, drop it down where I can put an 8-inch tube, and then I'll have to redo all my copper down there. But I will tell you this, I do not recommend using a 6-inch burner tube because it's going to do what this one's doing. At minimum, use an 8-inch. Here's this week's kilowatt use. We had 3 days in the high 60s, and then 2 or 3 days, I don't know, mid 40s probably. So sort of a decent mix. But just like last week, it used 24 gallons in 7 days. So that's 3.4 gallons per day. Alright, here's another issue to look out for. Most of these mishaps are my fault, by the way. Either through not very good design or just, I don't know. Anyway, last night I knew that I was running low on oil in this tank. I thought I had enough to make it through the night, and in the morning until I got up, nope, didn't happen. And that's fine, you know, running out of oil, it don't really matter. Other than, you gotta remember, I got pressure on this tank to send it over to the siphon tank. There's a float valve in here. When that level drops, float valve opens. Well, that's letting air rush through. You know, when I run out of oil in this tank, air just rushes through that valve, and your compressor's gonna sit there and run probably. So it might be a wise idea to never let it run out of oil, and you could put some kind of timer on the air compressor that won't let it run, say, more than 30 minutes. Because it takes mine 10 or 15 minutes to pump that tank up, because it's a 100+ gallon tank. So it'll run 10 minutes just to fill it back up. Anyway, if I can figure out how to do it, I'm going to put a timer on mine and shut it off after 30 minutes. That way I won't burn my compressor up. Which my compressor, it's an old one and it's a tough one. These newer ones, they just don't last very long if you run them all the time. Now here's another thing. Last week I had another burning rich incident. It was warm last week and this thing didn't run very much. So I thought, well, you know, I'd probably go 2 days without cleaning out the burner tube there. Wrong idea again. Woke up one morning, it was rolling cold. Come out here, of course, you know, all this in here was just blacker and I don't know what. I had to give it a good cleaning again. So once again, go with an 8-inch burner tube and you won't have that issue. Here's this week's kilowatt usage. Again, you know, it was in the 50s, 40s and 50s for half the week, and then 30s for the other half of the week. About like the week before. It used 24 gallons in 7 days, which is like the past 2 or 3.4 gallons a day. So I dare say, you know, 3.5 gallons a day is probably going to be the average for the whole winter. All right, here's the latest bill. And you might think, well, you didn't improve much over the last bill. Well, it's about, what, $80? But let me show you on this next picture that the first 3 days of this billing cycle, I was using the heat pump. Actually, I was probably using electric, but you can see I had a $15 day, a $16 day, and a little over $18 day. So that's about $50 right there. We'll take that off that $190, it drops it to $140. Well, then add $5 a day for those 3 days for, you know, what it's been doing, and that makes it about $155. So that's $115 less. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Here's the log I kept every time I would fill it up. I wrote the date down and how much I put in it. It's about 142 gallons over roughly a month and a half. So you're looking at about, you know, maybe 100 gallons a month that it's going to use. All right, I bought this little flow meter off of Amazon to see what kind of flow I'm getting. And you can see right there, I wish it would focus a little better, about 3.5, 3.6 gallons per minute. All right, now what I need to do is go outside to the indoor coil and get my temperature drop across the coil, and then we can figure out what kind of BTUs I'm getting out of this thing to heat the house with. All right, here we are at the indoor coil. I've already done this once with my fluke meter. I got a temperature sensor that plugs into it, and somehow the footage got deleted. I don't know. So I'm going to use this infrared gun, and let's see if it does the same as the fluke meter. All right, here is the incoming line. It's almost 123, so we'll say 123. And the outgoing is 108. So that is 118, about 15 degrees. I was getting 15 to 16 degrees with the fluke meter. So we'll say 15 degrees. So let's go in the house and find the formula and do the math and see what kind of BTU I'm getting. Here's the formula I see a lot on figuring out BTU. I don't know if it's the right one, but it's the one I normally use. So let's do the math. 500 times 3.6 times 15 degrees is 27,000 BTU. Just for giggles and out of curiosity, I went and checked the temperature at the heat exchanger itself, the Fiery Dragon itself. It's about 120 degrees coming out, and it's 105 coming back. That's 15 degree difference, just like the indoor coil. So I don't know which number you're supposed to use, but they're the same, so I don't guess it matters. I always thought it would take more than 27,000 BTU to heat this house. That's why I question this formula and or my numbers, but I don't know how else to figure it. If some of you smart people know how to do that, if you can do it with the numbers I've give you, then please do so, and please put them in the comments, because I'd like to know. As far as figuring out the efficiency of the Fiery Dragon, the furnace, I really don't have a clue how to do that. But I tell you what I used to do on a cold night, say like 30 degrees, I'd be sitting there in a recliner watching TV, and I would time how long it would run just by the wall clock. And like I said, 30-degree night, it'll run 15 minutes, it'll be off 15. It'll run 15, be off 15. That's 30 minutes an hour. Well, if it's using a half-gallon an hour nozzle, then 30 minutes an hour would be a quarter gallon that it's using. Well, used motor oil has 140,000 BTU per gallon, so a quarter of 140,000 would be 35,000. Well, if I'm getting 27,000 of that into my home, then that means it's 77% efficient. If that's how you figure it out, I don't know. Like I said, you smart people, y'all can figure it out with the numbers I've given you. I will say this, for it to be an old hunk of junk that was thrown together, she's running pretty good and saving me quite a bit of money on my heating bill, and that's all I care about. Well, there's a shot of the nastiness on my brand new stovepipe. It's pretty rough looking. I'm gonna try to wash some of that white stuff off before I shut it down and put it up for the summer. And I may buy one piece of stainless for next year and just see how it holds up. If it holds up pretty good, then that's what I'm going to use from now on. Well, I'm really disappointed in this right here. Our power went out, I don't know, a week or two ago, and when that happened, it erased everything on the kilowatt meter. If I remember right, I checked it a day or two before the power went out, and the only thing I remember is I believe it had 881 hours on it, but I don't remember the kilowatt usage. But it was, I want to say, like $25 or $30 for a month, or maybe a little more than a month. But this here is showing 51.9 kilowatt hours at 228 hours of use. You got to remember, this is just the boiler room shanty. This don't include the indoor fan. I never rigged up anything to see how much kilowatts it's using. I'm sitting here editing the video, and I'm on the part where the kilowatt meter is measuring my kilowatt hours on the boiler room shanty. And I figured I'd do the math. So 52 kilowatt hours divided by 228 hours of runtime, that is 228 watts per hour. All right, times 24 hours, that's almost 5.5 kilowatts per day. So that's about 55 cents a day is what the boiler room shanty cost me to heat my house. That's not bad at all. It's March 3rd, and our winter's pretty much over. It's been in the 60s and 70s all this week. Usually the 1st of March, it's like somebody flips a switch, our winter's gone. We'll still have some cold spells, but pretty much the winter's over with. So that's going to wrap this video up. Look for another Fiery Dragon video, I don't know, sometime this coming fall, because I'm going to put an 8-inch burner tube in this heat exchanger. That means I have to cut the bottom out. I got to redo all the copper around the burner tube and all that. And then I'll show you how, hopefully, that it's not going to sit up like it was. So be looking for that this fall. Appreciate y'all watching. Hope you learned something. If you're going to build one of these, hopefully you learn what not to do at least. If you don't mind, hit the subscribe, hit the like, comment, do all that, share the videos. And until next time, go build one of these.